We welcome Nick Roush from Kentucky Sports Radio. And the last time we talked to Nick, feels like things were going to hell in a handbasket. Kentucky's about to lose its offensive coordinator in football. The Cats were having a little bit of a losing streak on the court. But that was like a month and a half ago, Nick. And I got to say, the SEC tournament result aside, Kentucky feels like a very dangerous team going into the NCAA tournament.
Oh, it's total devil on one shoulder, angel on another, of just competing thoughts, right? Your head is telling you all of these crazy stats, like no team has ever won a national title after losing in the first round of its conference championship. Every Kentucky Final Four team since 1978 has at least gone to the SEC championship game. But then you remember, like, oh, we can't let conference tournament week poison the well. That was their floor, but their ceiling is so high, and that's kind of been what this team has been all season. A team with an incredibly low floor, but also it can reach the highest of highs. And so I think the Big Blue Nation is just trying to tell itself, hey, that was the floor. Maybe we just got it out of the way. Maybe we got the bad out of the way before we see the best of the best for Kentucky. And when you look around at the draw, Kentucky fans, we love to complain about the draw. We've done it time and time again. No complaints this year. No complaints whatsoever, right? This is a very palatable draw where you can see Kentucky getting to Phoenix in the Final Four for the first time since 2015.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Angel and the Devil on the show. I feel like we saw the Angel and the Devil in a 2-game span, with Kentucky going down to Knoxville, beating Tennessee, the last game of the regular season, looking like a team that could cruise to the Final Four. And then the Texas A&M game, all of the stuff you worry about comes back. So, all right, give me a perfect scenario. Like, what needs to happen? Who needs to play well? What would make it possible for Kentucky to get through this region, which Marquette on their side of the bracket, you wind up with Duke or Houston probably if you're trying to get to the Final Four. Like, what does Kentucky need to do very well to get through this bunch?
I think some of it is just how well do the complementary players play? When you saw them at their worst, right, against Texas A&M, Justin Edwards and Adu Thiero combined for 9 points. Justin Edwards didn't hit a three. He had been on a heater to end the season. I think 4 out of his last 6 games were in double figures. He knocked down a bunch of threes against Tennessee. I think he plays a really significant role because you kind of know what you're going to get with Reed Sheppard. Antonio Reeves is going to score 20 points unless the refs foul him out. And then Rob Dillingham is like on an every other game pace, right? He goes right. Nuclear. So you kind of know what you're going to get there. You're not expecting a ton from the centers, but it's that Adu Thiero and Justin Edwards combination at the 3-4 spot. How reliable are they both defensively and offensively? Because I think they played a key role in that Tennessee game. And also, I mean, Connect had 40, but they were all up in his face. They didn't give him nothing easy. And the guys that have typically given Kentucky trouble in March are those sort of stretch fours. So I think those guys play a huge, huge role for Kentucky. And then the other thing is, Andy, it's been the biggest talking point of the year. And I think Calipari might finally be willing to wave the white flag and say, all right, guys, you might be onto something here. The starting lineup it's just been an issue. They were down 8-1 against A&M. They were down, I think, 9-2 early. It's just, you don't need to dig yourselves into early holes. And Andy, I think some of the yelling and screaming about who's starting, Cal was right when it came specifically to Justin Edwards. You know, he doesn't want to give up on guys in fear of losing them for the season. And it worked for Edwards. But you're at a point now where, like, that 5 that starts the first half and the second half, they never play again. They only start for like 3 minutes, and Dillingham and Reeves come in. So it's like you're just wasting time. There's no time to waste. The time is now. It's March, and at least Cal alluded to potentially making some changes to the lineup in his coach's show. But he's seemingly the only person that likes that lineup. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned it, though, because I was thinking back. So that Kimball Walker team, the one that won 5 games in 5 days and then ripped through the NCAA tournament, Calhoun did that with that team. And I always was so confused by it. But you would trot this lineup out, and at the under 4 timeout, you'd bring in your real lineup. And I didn't understand why you wouldn't just start with that one.
Some coaches, they especially college basketball, where you have your just grips on everything. Like there's just a a hesitancy to relinquish power, to admit you're wrong. And here's the thing is like those individuals have their moments, right? Like Ugonna and Yenso to start the Tennessee game blocked 3 shots right off the bat. And you knew like, okay, this is a game. He's going to be vital. Same thing with Aduthiero or Edwards. But it's just that combination with DJ Wagner and Reeves. Like DJ had a streak where he was, I want to say, 8 of 12 from 3 over a 3-game span. He's taking steps forward, but it's just pairing him together, it just doesn't work. So maybe you sit Aduthiero out and you let Reed Shepherd play there, so you have 3 guards and you play a little bit smaller. This opening round games against a team in Oakland that plays a ton of zone, so that makes more sense. I just really the centerpiece of this all, Andy, is this felt like a make or break year for Kentucky going in, and it was all going to matter to March. Well, now it's here. We had all this excitement going in the SEC tournament, and the air got let out of the balloon right away. And so the anxiety, the pressure, it's mounting. And you can kind of feel with John Calipari too, because he's talking about getting rid of the clutter and don't put any more pressure on the players. It's like, Cal, we ain't putting the pressure on them, buddy. It's all on you. It's all on you.
And that's
Cal.
exactly right. It has been 5 years since, by God, Kentucky basketball made the second weekend in the NCAA tournament. Now, I realize there wasn't a tournament in 2020. That's still not an excuse.
No.
Like, this is, and you look at the situation. If they get past Oakland, they're going to get NC State or Texas Tech. Both teams they should be able to beat.
Correct.
Like, there's no excuse for them not to be in the second weekend.
No, none whatsoever. And I feel like I have all of those spidey senses tinkling where every time I say something like that, I feel like I'm putting bad juju on them. Kentucky plays in the 7-10 slot on Thursday, the same time slot they lost to St. Peter's. So there's all sorts of PTSD just hanging over this team. And then you were like, well, it's a homecoming for John Calipari to Pittsburgh, and Aduthiero's from there, and so is Trey Mitchell, and Justin Edwards is not too far away. And all the while, it's just Kentucky fans, we just love this team. They're so much fun, and you don't want to see this fun team. You don't want their road to come to an end early and have it be a what if instead of a banner year where you think about this team fondly for years to come.
How hard will Kentucky fans laugh if St. Peter's eliminates Tennessee in a 15-2 game?
And fortunately, that game is being played after the Kentucky game, because I think there may have been some folks, myself included, who might have enjoyed that Tennessee loss Friday morning at the SEC tournament a little bit too much. But here's the thing, Andy. Rick Barnes has a reputation in March for a reason. But one thing he does well, he does not lose to mid-majors and opening round games. He's good against mid-majors and opening round games. So he can take care of business, but St. Peter's can do the funniest thing.
Oh, yeah. All right. Before I let you go, Nick, I'm going to give you a scenario. And this, let's just say they get past Oakland and Greg Rempe, 40 years, congratulations. Here's your gold watch, all that good stuff. And they're playing either Texas Tech or NC State to get to that second weekend for the first time since 2019. And it comes down to the wire. There's 8 seconds left. Kentucky's got the ball. They're down 1. Who do you want taking that shot? Rob Dillingham or Reed Shepherd?
I'm saying Reed Shepherd 7 out of 10 times, with the caveat that it could be a Rob Dillingham nuclear game. And that's the only way to describe it, because there's times where he's just like Allen Iverson is the only comparison I can think of, because he's just doing stuff that like and it's no. Yes. I mean, it's stuff that just makes no sense, but he's just flicking it from like his waist over his head, over 3 guys, and banking it off the glass. So if he's having one of those games where he's unstoppable, untouchable, a walking flamethrower, then I say Rob, but I trust Reed Shepherd's decision-making skills. He's already got a buzzer beater to his name against Mississippi State. And in that game, we remember the buzzer beater, but he also had the block shot before that, the steal and dunk in transition. He is cool as a cucumber and collected under pressure. Reed Shepherd is the guy that has exceeded the Big Blue Nation's wildest dreams, and he can really cement himself as an all-time great with an outstanding run this March.
Counterpoint. LSU was one of those Dillingham nuclear games. He made what looked like basically 2 NBA game winners, and Kentucky lost on a buzzer beater. So I think I make a reach effort on this.
Yeah, and the part of me is that, like, it's great that you have those options, and there's so many, like, oh, well, yeah, you have Mississippi State, but you also had LSU, where it was like kind of fluky at the end. Mississippi State, they were up by 8 with a minute left, and they blew that lead. They blew a lead against Kansas. So that's why ultimately I think we're going to end where Kentucky fans are the most conflicted. It's going to be the most conflicted March possible, where they're looking great. They stormed the Sweet 16, possibly get some revenge against Florida, who upset them in overtime at Rupp Arena. That could be a high-scoring, dramatic affair where they win a tight one. You're feeling good about them. And then they just get completely swallowed by Houston in the Elite Eight, where, hey, it's good. We're back to the Elite Eight, but, like, it's still not good enough. And that could lead to just another 6 months of arguing and bickering, of uncertainty. And we'd have it no other way over the last 5 years of John Calipari. Just the total gray area. And that's unfortunately how I kind of see things going for this team in the NCAA tournament.
Nick, we're going to talk next week, no matter what happens. I'm not sure what I want to happen.
I hope
I'm not sure which version of Nick I want. I just want you on the show. That's all I care about.
Okay. Well, if there's any sort of heartbreak involved, I'll give Tennessee fans what they want. Okay, Andy, I can promise your Tennessee viewers and listeners they will get what they want. But if not, I'm going to be the most obnoxious person possible. So if the Cats are in Phoenix, oh, buddy, whoo.
Well, I think the only response to that is go Big Blue, because that's the Nick I want.
Yes.
Nick, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.